But I've read about you in the newspaper a lot. She's a president. And when you have a president, all you have to say is the president. Everybody knows her. She's the president of Fairfax County Council of PTAs. And with the pinched budgets, the tight budget caused by the recession and by the sequestration, we need to support the meals tax in order to revitalize the things that make Fairfax County really a great place to live and work. We're glad you're here.
Good morning. Like many of you, I am a parent. I have 2 boys here in Fairfax County, one in school now and one soon to be. My husband is also a teacher, and amazingly, after many years of hard work, we became Fairfax County homeowners. We often struggle ourselves to make ends meet, but we do it because we know that the quality of our children's schooling and the services provided in our county are top-notch, something that we as residents and taxpayers have come to expect. But I want to share with you today that many of us believe that our excellence is at risk in Fairfax County. Health services here are essential, especially for my son with a hearing disability. Our fantastic parks and libraries are an important part of the decision many of us made to move here to Fairfax County. We all know that our fire and rescue personnel and public safety personnel are the best in the region, and they are the first responders we call on when the unthinkable happens. I'm a founding member of an organization called Invest in Fairfax. In support of our future, I represent tens of thousands of homeowners, parents, teachers, firefighters, police, friends and users of our libraries, parks and recreation facilities, those who belong to churches and nonprofit organizations, friends in our human services alliances, and those who are working to ensure that Fairfax County protects all of those in need. We advocate around many issues, and this year we are all members and involved with the Vote Yes Meals Tax campaign. Our coalition has talked with thousands of residents in Fairfax County about the budget and the upcoming meals tax referendum. And the most common question we get is, why the meals tax? Why not cigarettes or alcohol or some other tax? And the answer is simple. Thanks to Richmond, Fairfax County can only institute a tax on prepared meals, and only after it passes a referendum on that with voters in Fairfax County. The Virginia General Assembly controls the revenue options on taxes, and prepared meals is the only option we have available to us. This tax will be raised entirely in Fairfax County and used entirely for the benefit of Fairfax County and not ever sent to Richmond. 100% of this tax will be ours to control, the use of those dollars at the discretion of our elected leaders and those of us who vote for those leaders. We have seen the state pushing more of the cost of education and other services back on localities. This creates a multitude of unfunded mandates in our local schools and county services, and the legislative directives must be paid for. The reliability, as Michelle mentioned, about state funding over the biennium remains in jeopardy, and we may see a significant shortfall. And sadly, while Virginia is in the top 10, both per capita and median household income, our Commonwealth is ranked in the bottom 5th for both public education and human services funding. We did take a direct hit here in the Fairfax County and the larger greater DC area around the recession, and our federal contractor community has also suffered substantial impacts from federal budget sequestration. Over a 6-year period, Fairfax residents suffered reductions in force, record increases in foreclosures, and a precipitous drop in our home values. And while economic recovery has come back and been slow, and home values have grown, vacancies in commercial office space are up to a 25-year high. So the reality today, as stated by our county executive, is that we have a structural revenue problem. Revenue from commercial property tax has been slow to rebound, and so 65% of our county revenues required to pay for schools and county services are borne entirely by Fairfax homeowners. As our schools are filled with students who we cannot ignore, the Board of Supervisors is faced with balancing this act in an unconscionable way. They must allocate funds for a multitude of services and needs way beyond our schools, with revenues tied to just a single source, property taxes. In an article earlier this year, we were portrayed as fraying around the edges. Since 2008, the county has eliminated 700 jobs, libraries operate on shorter schedules, and with fewer books, class sizes have swelled to beyond 32 students in some schools, and so many educators have left for better paid positions elsewhere that the system was short 200 teachers last fall. Several of my colleagues, many of your children's and grandchildren's favorite teachers, have taken positions in Arlington, Falls Church, Alexandria City, and other places this school year. Fairfax residents place a higher importance this year than any other on parks, libraries, recreation facilities, and human services than they did in 2007. And yet the Park Authority also reports that it has a significant backlog of critical capital improvement requirements. We've all come across evidence of this, seeing cracked tennis courts, damaged park trails, and missing playground equipment. The challenge to solve our crisis related to housing and food insecurity for all residents, including more than 40,000 students in our schools, has reached a critical point where more dollars must be spent to affect the same results. Resources are lost when matching cannot occur and special projects abandoned for lack of funding. One such program was the effort to combat human trafficking. It took considerable movement on our Board of Supervisors to replace lost grant funding, and the necessity of that program has been evident. Where did the money come from? It was trimmed from other areas of the budget, and other services have seen cuts. So meals tax opponents tell us that it's unfair to target the single industry of restaurant owners, as if our personal agenda is against all restaurants. The simple truth is it's not about the restaurants. It's about us. It's about all of us in Fairfax County. I want to tell you about 5 good things that will happen if you vote for the meals tax. A 4% tax on prepared meals will annually generate $100 million for school and county services. $28 million of that will be paid by tourists and visitors. Second, 70% of those revenues will be directed to public schools to keep our teachers and increase critical classroom resources, such as reduction in class size, and maintain the excellence of our school system, which we know draws so many here to Fairfax County. Third, we will keep our community safe and vibrant. In essence, we will protect our quality of life by addressing unmet public safety and human service needs, as well as those of our libraries and parks. Fourth, we will be able to reduce some of the backlog in county and school facility infrastructure maintenance needs, while also preserving our AAA bond rating. And fifth, we will diversify our tax base and relieve the pressure on homeowners. This meals tax is a pennies on the dollar consumption tax collected by restaurant industry on the county's behalf. Their administrative costs will be fully reimbursed. I repeat, administrative costs to the restaurateurs are entirely reimbursed and given back to them out of the county revenues raised. There is little evidence that shows restaurants are hurt by a meals tax, and very few of us choose where we eat out based on whether there is a meals tax in place. I want to talk for a moment about tax on prepared meals being characterized as regressive and the concern for a disproportionate impact on our middle and lower income families and seniors on a fixed income. Lower income families and individuals have to spend most of their time and income on basic necessities, including food. But they also, by necessity, eat more meals prepared at home than any other demographic. And most of their students eat subsidized breakfast and lunches in our schools. Whether you own a home or rent one way or another, the impact of a property tax increase will be felt by seniors, middle and lower income groups, and all of us. So in the very real sense, having an ability to lessen your reliance on property tax for maintaining county services that we all depend on is actually a benefit to all of us, including those on lower and fixed incomes. If you agree that it's important to keep the best teachers in our classrooms, continue to protect our quality of life, our safety, improve our homes here in Fairfax County, if you believe we need to be less dependent on homeowners to pay for all of this, then it is clear that you should vote in support of the meals tax. We must invest in our Fairfax County for our residents and our children, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.